Hi, old guy in shed again. Sorry this is a little bit late as an addition, usually a bit earlier than this. But I had a fantastic addition to bring to you, or at least I thought, because middle of last week a gentleman got in touch with me asking me would I take a 750 Breva in Partex for my California. And I said, yeah. I've never owned one, I've never ridden one, never had anything to do with them. But I thought, wow, that's a good opportunity. So I did a little bit of research on the old Breva, and I did a bit of knowledge gathering, and come the weekend, which is when I usually put these out, and I was expecting to do the Breva, he contacted me and said, change of heart, decided to keep his money in the bank. Absolutely fair play, no problem with that at all. We all had that. And at the end of the day, they tell me, you know, some people don't tell you, and that's the annoying bit, not the fact that they've gone off the idea of owning a Cali, but not telling you. He told me and he was fine about it, and I'm fine about it. All very comfortable, it's all very nice. But I did like the idea of having a 750 Breva. And what's also very interesting to me was that as soon as he asked me about it and said, would you do this? In a split second, I thought, I can put it on the channel. Now, I never thought this would happen. I always thought I was just going to talk about my bikes and other bikes I have friends, and yeah, general blurb about how I enjoy motorbikes, you know, and how I hope other people do. But it's, I'm throwing in a bit of fun stuff in amongst it. But now I'm starting to think that having this YouTube channel is important to me, and hopefully to other people to see what's going on with regards to some views of owning a motorbike, particularly as I consider myself in a minority, having mainly Italian stuff. Okay, I do have the Suzuki, but it's mainly Italian, and I have a bit of a partial, no good word, for Italian kit. And I don't know why, I think there's a certain perversion in there. Certainly it's a masochistic thing to do sometimes. And that is why, at the moment, and I've had to change what I'm going to talk about today, because I've finished with that now, and why it is a little bit masochistic, is on the operating table today we still have the Benelli. There's been a real cock up with this poor bike, with the paperwork and the bureaucracy, and numbers not quite matching by a couple of digits. So I had to reapply to HMRC to change what they put on the Nova form. So there's 3 different digits at the beginning, and then I had to go and get it re-MOT'd because those digits were on the MOT, and they had to come off, which is not a problem. I mean, everybody's quite fine about it. HMRC, 3 days, and it was, you know, wow. So we've now got all that sorted, and it's all gone off, and I'm waiting for the number. But when I took it for the MOT again, I don't know whether any of you remember, but a while ago I had an issue with it and first gear, and I took it all to pieces, and I put in a new selector fork, and it worked. Everything was cool and fine and great, and it was working fine. I thought, oh, cured, great, enjoy the bike. Took it for MOT, brought it back. Then this second round of MOT came round, and I had to do it again, so took it again, which is about 4 miles away from here. So it was when I took it there, and I was coming home, so it's done like 12 miles. First gear started messing about again. I go, oh no. So I thought it was clutch, and that again was on the previous episode, but it wasn't the clutch, it was the gearbox messing about. So had a little bit of a look around, had a look at testing various things, and talking to other friends of mine as to what it could be. And we came to the conclusion that it might be the selector mechanism, not the actual gears. So you can't see from here, so it's nothing to look at anyway. I reset that lot, check the indent locator, that pushes into the drum, that gives you that positive holding of the selector drum, so it isn't flopping about. So I reset all of that, fill it full of oil X, and then when I get the bloody number, I can go and test it. And this is the major difficulty. I'm working on this bike, and I can't test anything. The only time I can test anything is when I drive it for an MOT. Well, I've got that now, so I can't actually put it on the road. And, I mean, friends of mine have said, "Oh, run it down the road, nobody will know." But in these very strange times we live in, with things like lockdown and everybody in the street is here, and it's very much a retired area. If I go tearing up and down the street, the government is encouraging people to, what's the word? Dump their neighbours in the shit, I think it is. I don't think that's how the government put it, but they certainly don't want to have to police every area. They'd rather have neighbours police neighbours. I don't agree with it, but that's as an aside. I do agree that I'm not supposed to ride a motorbike that isn't registered on the road to be riding it, although it does seem pretty harmless to me, I don't know about anybody else, that a bike that has an MOT is insured, and the number plate is a bureaucracy, because it does have an Italian number plate on it, but I do believe that has been deregistered in Italy, because that's how they work. So there's no tax liability to it, because it's a historic bike. So really, what is the harm? And I do have that sort of in my head. But at the same time, I appreciate, there is a regulation there. It does have to have a number plate, so I can be identified. So I just have to wait. Bit of a bugger, really, but there you go. If anybody out there has had any issue with things like, gearboxes on these things, please get in touch. I'm always wanting to learn more, because even after all these years, I come across things I've never come across before. And every day's a school day, as they say. And it is good to do these sort of episodes, because people do get in touch with me, which is great. I really like it, appreciate it a lot. And they go, "Oh, have you checked this?" And, "Oh, I'm going to have a look at that." And it's very encouraging that we as a community can share ideas, can share knowledge, because what do they say? Oh, knowledge is power. No, don't get me started. So, like I say, we're looking at this little thing, and hopefully we'll have it all sorted out. Sadly, what this has done, because this bike is so near complete, I'm having to do this with the gearbox, it's now put the 350 Guzzi on the back burner, because I wanted to do that as well. And I still will be doing it. And what I'm hoping to do with that, I discovered, this is what I say about a learning day. I discovered that this camera that I'm using today, which is a little, where's the camera? It's not an SLR, but similar. And I can do time-lapse with it. It has a built-in time-lapse feature. So I was thinking of giving that a go. So you'll see me dashing around like Benny Hill, for those of you that remember Benny Hill, when he did those high-speed sort of things. And that's how I think it'll look. But I was going to have a go at that with the Moto Guzzi, just for shits and giggles, really. And hopefully, it'll be a little bit informative as to how I go about stuff. And for God's sake, I'll never say that what I do is gospel. There's always a better way of doing things than the way I do them. Don't buy Italian bikes for kick-off. You'll have less work. Although that is a little bit unfair. The whole business of getting each bike on this bench is difficult. And when you own a few bikes, you feel like one of those guys spinning plates, you know, and just as one's falling, you dash over to it and then another one. And you do sort of get into that frame of mind, or that feeling that that's what you're doing. You are literally trying to juggle too much. But it's good, I enjoy it. Like I say, I'm going to bring you the results of what I find on this. I've not got there yet, and soon when we get it fixed. Like I say, years ago they used to say, answers on a postcard please. These days, answers on the comments below if you wish to. Like I say, I encourage anything because I'm willing to check anything, I'm willing to learn anything new. And if you find anything I say, put it in the comments, and tick the like button or the share button. And if you haven't and you're watching this for the first time, hit the subscribe button, that's a good one. And I'll bring you more content as and when. A little bit of a uninteresting edition this, because I had everything planned for something else and it was at the last minute taken away from me. But hey, crack on, enjoy your motorbikes if you enjoy your motorbikes half as much as I do, you'll be having a blast, because they are great. I've got some nice weather this week, so that might curtail any of the work in the garage, because I'll be out riding one of these things. I do need to test the Falcone, and I was going to do that with the helmet cam, remember? So I'm going to have a go at that, because I need to do more of those, and I need to test the Falcone, because it's just a hoot to ride. Anyway, I'll get back to you soon. Please contribute, keep in touch, and have a great week.